West, very competitive this season. The Rams took down their division opponent on Sunday in a dominant fashion, 42-26, the victory over the 49ers. Stafford threw 4 touchdown passes, making it the 3rd straight game that he threw at least 4 TDs. The Rams now hold a 7-2 record. Staying in the West, the Seahawks put together a full team effort against the Cardinals. Sam Darnold got things going with a 43-yard touchdown pass, and the defense followed it up with 2 scores of their own. 44-22 win put Seattle at 7-2 on the season to keep pace with the Rams for first place in the division. So despite their tied record, our analytics give the Rams a 54% chance to win the NFC West, while the Seahawks have just a 31% chance. Seattle and LA will face off against one another for the first time this season on Sunday in Los Angeles, and then again in Week 16 in Seattle. And so, who should be the favorite in the NFC West? This is like picking which of your 2 kids are your favorite. The Rams or the Seahawks, Cam Newton?
I'm going Los Angeles Rams because Stephen Anthony and Mr. Schrager, competition does matter. When you look back at this week, when you see the matchup, Seattle, the difference maker was they played the Arizona Cardinals. When you look at the Rams, they played a quality opponent of the 49ers. We were just having this discussion on Friday about Mac and Cheese Jones. Like, what are we going to, or is that going to be a quarterback battle? Now, this is what I must say. From a quarterback to another quarterback, you have to give flowers where flowers are due. Matthew Stafford is probably the most skillful thrower the game has ever seen. And I'm saying that as a bold statement, taking into consideration of an Aaron Rodgers, taking into consideration of a Patrick Mahomes. But obviously this past weekend, he's through 400 touchdowns, or the 400 touchdown club, and now serves on a very elite group. When you watch Matthew Stafford plays, he doesn't have to attack you with 300-plus pass yard games. He's shown that he's well and capable of being very efficient with 200 yards. And the thing is, you have Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua. That type of dynamic versus any type of matchup, no team wants to have to see that. And trust me, the LA Rams are built to have a deep playoff push.
You'll find no bigger fan of what Matthew Stafford is doing than me right now, but that Seattle defense could be the kryptonite. I just think Seattle's defense right now needs to get a little bit of national love for what they're doing. And I think yesterday, in that game where you're just seeing it on the bottom line, kind of like, oh, they're beating Arizona 35-0. I'm not putting that on. There's better games to watch. 2 defensive touchdowns, and they are dominant inside. Leonard Williams and DeMarcus Lawrence, who, by the way, the Cowboys also showed the door to this offseason, and it's been outstanding, are just 2 of the many players on that team, and they have a defensive head coach in Mike McDonald who's got them. I will say this about the Rams. Stafford is on an unbelievable pace right now. 20 touchdowns, 0 interceptions the last 6 games. The first quarterback in NFL history to do that. 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions the last 3 games. No one's doing that. Seahawks might be able to nip that in the bud. Sam Darnold, no one wants to give him his flowers, so he does it in the big game. I understand. Big game this weekend. They play the Rams. Seattle's defense, to me, is the great neutralizer to what they're doing on offense.
Well, it's not just a great neutralizer. It's the fact that you didn't see this coming. You knew their defense was going to be big time. Everybody was saying that, but you didn't see the veracity. I mean, those were 2 bone-crushing hits against Jacoby Brissett, right? And when's the last time we talked about DeMarcus Lawrence getting touchdowns? I mean, it's not something we hear much about, but it happened yesterday. You just look at it and you're just saying to yourself, Seattle is no joke, right? But then I got to look at their offense, right? 4th team. I'm going to read this to y'all. First team since 1980 and the 4th team ever to exceed 30 first half points 3 times in 1 season with still 8 games to go. You had 38-3 over the Saints, 31-7 over Washington, 35-0 over Arizona. Those first 2 finals, you didn't expect that against Arizona, right? So we got to look at the point differential plus 103. That's a franchise best to the point in this season. Then we're looking at Sam Darnold, NFL's 5 best games this season for per pass play efficiency. I mean, that's better than Drake May. That's better than anybody right now. Tied with Stafford and David May for most completions on passes traveling longer than 20 yards downfield, while ranking first in completion rate on these throws by far. By far. I mean, I'm just looking at them right now. If this is what it comes down to. You're talking about their defense. Defense ain't going nowhere. That defense is here.
And that defense will travel.
That's real. They will travel. They're not going anywhere. And Jigba, he ain't going nowhere. Okay? You got Shaheed in that. You ain't going nowhere. All right? It comes down to Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
It comes down to Sam Darnold. Now, here's the question. Do you believe in Seattle's defense or Matt Stafford? Because you're going to ultimately ask yourself, if you compare, there's nobody, I don't care how Sam Darnold looks, there's nobody that's going to pick him over Matthew Stafford. Anybody with sense is going to say Matthew Stafford, the Super Bowl champion. All right? We know he got obliterated and abused in Detroit. He's the one guy. You remember, Detroit was purgatory. And nobody ever said a word about Matthew Stafford because we knew he was a stud. They didn't have any help around him all of those years when Matthew Stafford was there, okay? So now he's gone. He comes to Los Angeles. He wins a first Super Bowl championship as soon as he arrived. We looked at the Eagles last year, and the Los Angeles Rams was what gave them the better game. They dropped 55, 53 or 55 on the Washington Commanders. We saw what they did to Kansas City in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl game for the Eagles was that game against Matthew Stafford and the Los Angeles Rams. In the snow. L.A. traveling. You don't usually see teams in Southern California performing in the snow. But they did. They were right there. So I'm just looking at it and I'm saying, okay, we believe in Matthew Stafford. But against this Seattle defense, that would be something to behold, assuming they face one another. The real question is, how much do you believe that Sam Darnold, who wet the bed in the season finale against Detroit, and then against the Rams in the playoffs last year in Minnesota, how much faith do you have that was then, this is now, and this brother who is a leading candidate for MVP, the way that he's been playing, is Sam Darnold going to show up when it counts? That is what Seattle comes down to.
It's a great, and I got to speak with Sam Darnold earlier this season, and 28 years old. Obviously, his fourth team. He's been around the world. Last year, for Minnesota to say, you know what, we're good. We're going to ride with J.J. McCarthy. I think a lot of people would have cowered in that. They would have gone in the corner. He's been better this year. And they were 14-3 last year. Until he does it in the playoffs, I can't crown Sam Darnold. Matthew Stafford's a made man. Matthew Stafford's a Super Bowl winner. Matthew Stafford right now is my vote for MVP if I was to do it right now. And yet Sam Darnold might be the story of the year because he's doing it again. He's proven doubters wrong again. He did it all last year. I find the Darnold story even more fascinating than the Stafford story. And yet when it all comes down to it, he and JSN are fantastic. That defense is what drives them, and I think they might be the kryptonite.
This game is in L.A., but when it's in Seattle, I think I said week 16, I mean, that home field advantage, too, when you've got a defense playing the way it is, that offense clicking on all cylinders, the only thing that maybe works in the Rams' favor, I think, for the Rams, is that this game's on the road for Seattle, which I think McDonald is like 11-0 on the road or something.
11-1, I believe.
11-1, yeah, crazy. So this should be an interesting game. Cam Newton, I feel like we're so accustomed, though, to seeing this from Matthew Stafford. That we're almost getting used to him having these dominant performances, dating back to even when he was with the Lions. Like, that might be part of the problem here for our psyche.
Right. Yeah. I want to mention this real quick. We have to understand how the NFL game structure is. It's built to have some type of closeness through the game, and somebody has to win it at the end. So to Stephen A's point, are you willing to say that Sam Darnold is able, capable, and he's going to lead his team to victory over a Matthew Stafford? Nobody's saying that, but that's how the structure of each game has gone. That's the difference between the Matthew Staffords. That's the difference between the Patrick Mahomes. That's the difference between the elite and great quarterbacks. And, Sam Darnold will have to prove that at some point this year.
McVay, McDonald, be a good one on Sunday. Can't wait. How about Jackson Dart? Just how concerning now is it, the style?